Hello friends, in this lecture we discuss simplification of context-free grammar by elimination of null production. This lecture is in continuation of my previous lecture over this topic where we discuss about the null production and the elimination of null production and the causes of elimination of null production, many things. Okay, so in this lecture we discuss one particular theorem by which we can eliminate null productions and add the appropriate production due to the elimination of null production. So here we learn step by step what actually this theorem is saying and how we doing the work to find out the simplified context-free grammar by eliminating null production. So here we have a given context-free grammar G, and corresponding to this grammar we have to construct simplified grammar G1, and the language of G1 should be equals to the language of G, and that does not contain null string. Means that we construct an equivalent grammar G1 corresponding to G, and the language of G1 does not contain null string which is available in the language of G. It simply meaning is this. Okay, so here we discuss how we construct this simplified grammar G1. Okay, so there are two steps. In step first we construct the set of nullable variable, and in step second we construct the corresponding set of production. So we discuss step by step. The set of nullable variables means we suppose we have a given particular context-free grammar, and corresponding to that grammar we have to construct a simplified grammar. So we take the given context-free grammar and we construct a set of nullable variable over that grammar. That is means a set of all nullable variables in that grammar we construct first. This is constructed recursively and by using the set Wi, that is the set of all nullable variable in a given grammar. So very first or initially Wi is constructed, in which we include those variable which directly derives null in a set of production P of a grammar G. Okay, like if a null production B tends to null is available, okay, in a context-free grammar G, then we include this B. Okay, in this Wi, and the value of I is 1 initially. Okay, so after that we construct Wi plus 1. Okay, okay, and that is the union of previously calculated set of nullable variable and the set of newly created variables, and this is created by using the previously calculated set of nullable variables. Means in this case, if suppose uh, B belongs to Wi, and if W if this if a variable S which derives B, then we include this S in this set. Okay, so suppose we include those variable which is derived the alpha, and alpha is what belongs to previously calculated set of nullable variable. I hope you understand this. Otherwise, just listen again. This is very simple, and we will take one particular example to understand more clearly. Okay, so Wi is belongs to the set of variable in a given grammar G, and Wi is a subset of its successor always, and due to the finite set of v, because v is having finite number of variable in a given grammar g. So for a particular value of k, we get this restriction where the previously calculated set of nullable variable is equals to its successor. On that case, this wk is our final answer. Okay, it is very simple. Now we go for step second. In this step we construct the set of production, means a simplified set of production. In step first, okay, we include all those production which is available in p in the right hand side of production does not having nullable variable. So like if we have a production, okay, like s tends to a, and a is not our nullable variable, then we include this production as tends to a in this set. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Next, if suppose a tends to alpha is in our p and alpha having nullable variable, on that case we construct or obtain new production by eliminating or erasing any nullable variables on right hand side. Means we can erase any nullable variable which is available on right hand side into this alpha, or not erasing any nullable variable on right hand side. If suppose if this alpha having nullable variable, okay, and we have a such type of production in a set of production in a given grammar, then we can obtain a new production by not erasing any of nullable variable and by erasing some of them, erasing. Due to that, the right hand side having some other symbols, okay, so it not become null. Therefore we may eliminate some of the nullable variable, or we can eliminate all available nullable variables. But remember that after erasing some or all, there should be something remain in right hand side. Okay, some symbol remain in right hand side. Okay, so by using this two production, we we can add the new production in a simplified set of production p1, okay, by the production of uh, in set p, okay, in a given grammar g, and in which a nullable variable appears on right hand side. So after using this step 1 and step 2, we construct this simplified context free grammar. In this simplified context free grammar, we construct and this simplified context free grammar is just equivalent to L of G, but L of G1 does not contain null string as it is belongs to L of G. I think this thing is clear. If it is not clear, I repeat again. Suppose L of G null is belongs to L of G, means our language of G having null string. Okay, then by this theorem 4, we construct a simplified grammar L of G1. Okay, simplified language L of G1, but this L of G1 does not contain null. Okay, by this procedure or theorem 4. Okay, I think it is clear. If not, then just listen again, and we are taking one particular example for this same. Okay, so this is our example in which we consider we have a context free grammar G whose productions are given like this, and we have to construct a corresponding simplified grammar G1, G1 such that L of G1 equals to equals to L of G without null string, okay. So in step first, according to the theorem 4, we construct a nullable variable. We start with w1, and of course it is set of all nullable variable. For this, look into the production of a given grammar G, where A tends to null and B tends to null. These both productions are nullable, null production. Therefore, these variable A and B are said to be a nullable variable. So we include A and B into this W1. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now we construct W2, and of course we know this is construction. This construction is recursively. So W2 use W1, and the new set in which if the previously calculated set of nullable variable means a or b, if a and b are derived by any other particular variable, then we include that variable also. Like here, s tends to a and b. Okay, s tends to a and b, so s derived a and b. Okay, where s derives a and b, and further by, because we know both of these are nullable variable, so in the course of derivation they are also uh, removed by null production. Okay, okay, like this. So s is also a nullable variable, because after a multiple production s also derived null. Therefore we include s in this set, and after taking the union of w1 and this s, we get w2 is a comma b comma s. This is the set of nullable variable at iteration 2. Now we go for iteration 3, in which we use a previously calculated set of nullable variable, that is w2, and at this time no new variable is find out by using a production in grammar G. Okay, so this is what nullable variable. So the w3 equals to w2, or we can say w2 equals to w3. So w2 is our set of nullable variable in a grammar G, that is s comma a comma b. So this is what our set of nullable variable. Now here we construct simplified set of production P1 for a simplified grammar G1 corresponding to given grammar G and production P. So in very first we include all those production in which right hand side does not having any nullable variable. So here we look, this right hand side does not having any nullable variable, so we include this. Okay, so we include this, and uh, and in both these production null is available, so we not include this null, these two production in this, because these are eliminated. Okay, and because a and b both are nullable variables, therefore we not include this also. And here s is nullable variable, so here also this is not included. So only d tends to small b is a production which is we include in this step a. Okay, hope this is clear. Now in step B and C, we include those production and corresponding to new production in which a right hand side having nullable variable. So look, a production S tends to small a and capital A. And this is a production in set of production P. And in this right hand side having nullable variable. Okay, so we include uh, corresponding to this production, uh, new production in P1, simplified set of production P1, by not erasing any of the nullable variable, that is s tends to small a and s, as it is we include in simplified set of production, and by erasing some or all. Okay, but in but after remaining some or all, there should be something left in the right hand side, means something left symbol, uh, which maybe belongs to variable or a terminal on right hand side. So if we remove this unavailable, so if we remove this nullable variable, because there is only one, so we can say we remove all. Okay, so we remove all means this s is eliminated, then remaining is s tends to small a, so we include s tends to small a in a new production in the set of simplified production P1 for a grammar G1. Okay, hope you understand. So we include these two production. Next, for a production s tends to ab. Okay, okay, is in P, and in this right hand side having what, both nullable variable. So in step first, we we not erasing any of the nullable variable on right hand side, so we include as it is this production. Okay, and after erasing some of them, means we have two nullable variable, so one by one we eliminate uh, uh, the nullable variable, so because there should be something something left over the right hand side. Okay, therefore we eliminate, in this case we eliminate capital B. Okay, and in this case we eliminating capital A, and both are what, nullable variable. So these three production corresponding to single production s tends to AB, we include these three production into a simplified set of production P1 for a grammar G1. I hope this is clear. Okay. So here we discuss again, conclude our solution for okay. So for the grammar G, we construct a simplified grammar G1 without null production. So we eliminate this production and this production, and we construct the L of G1, that is equivalent to L of G without null string. Okay. So by step first, we construct these three nullable variable, and by using step second we construct these production, simplified production. Okay, in this production, a right hand side having no uh, nullable variable, so we include directly capital D tends to small b, and by this production we eliminate one s, and because this is a nullable variable, so it is in a course of derivation replaced by null. Okay, so we eliminate a null productions, all null production, therefore this is also eliminated or erased. So we therefore we include this production s tends to small a, and by corresponding to these two, this production, we include these two new production also. Okay, so finally by step 1 and step 2, we constructed a simplified grammar G1 whose productions are given like this, and the language of G1 equals to language of G without null string. I hope this is clear, and we okay, but there are something new also. Okay, means there is some points are left at this situation, which we discuss in our next slide, but this is the complete solution for the context free grammar G1 and the simplified grammar G1. And this is asked, actually this is asked in this question, and up to this we constructed this solution. But there but many things are left, okay, which we discuss in our next slide. Okay, so suppose if we want to construct G2 without null production, in previous we constructed what? G1. Okay, we constructed this G1, okay, like this, and this G1 is equals to L of G without null. But suppose if we want to construct simplified grammar G2 corresponding to given grammar G that does not having null production and that generate a language which is equals to L of G, means what we want to say, and here we want to say that because of L of G having the null string, so the corresponding simplified grammar or a language should also contain null string. Therefore we can do this by defining a new grammar G2 in which we modified set of productions and set of variables and starting variables. Like this, we include one new starting variable. Okay, and this starting variable is indicating null for the null string which is available in a grammar G. Like this, we include this new variable starting variable as 2, and that is denoting this null. This is because we want to add a null string in a finalized simplified grammar. Therefore we include this, and the previous starting symbol is derived by this new variable. Okay, so by this we change the anchor point. Here we declare this new starting variable, this that actually derived this s. Okay, and this s to derive null also. This is clear because we already discussed about this. But s tends to s means by this new variable s2 we are able to derive the previous grammar, which is grammar as that is derived in like in G1. Okay, so the corresponding changes in the set of production P2 corresponding to the set of production P1. So all these production are same, like this is from P1, but here we include two new production, this by using this new starting variable s2. This is new starting variable s2. By using this s2 we derive this s, and by using this s we reach to these all productions. Okay, as according to the given grammar. Maybe not, these are not derived, but these are the given. Okay, therefore we will discuss it in our next slide how we can remove the dependency also. Okay, but here our focus is only on these two production, because by using these two production we eliminate a recursiveness in a grammar. Okay, so we include s tends to s and s tends to null. By using this we include null in a given string. So finally a G2 grammar is constructed like this. Okay, and this language of G2 is equals to language of G2, and both containing null string. Okay, because null is available in L of G. Therefore the equivalent grammar, simplified grammar G2 also contain null. So this is equal. Okay, I hope this is clear. The reference of this topic is KLP Mishra. You can read that book also. Okay, now this is turn to analysis all these grammars L of G, L of G1 and L of G2. Okay, so in very first G. Okay, by when we look at this grammar G, and if we consider over the derivation, any derivation of this G, then we find out that this grammar G derives only the n occurrence of A where n is greater than or equals to 0. Okay, so if suppose we want to uh, zero occurrence of A means null string, that is also derived by this grammar. How it is? We derived S tends to AB, A is replaced by this and B is replaced by this, so S derives null. Okay, so the language of G is an occurrence of A where A is greater than or equals to G. Now the simplified grammar G1 by G is constructed like this. Okay, and of course we know that L of G1 is equals to L of G without null string. So the L of G1 is an occurrence of A where n is only greater than to 0, means it does not derive, null is not derived from L of G1. Okay, you can see here, because as there's AB replaced by and we don't have any production which replace A and B, therefore we are not able to construct. And of course S derives small a, so at least one single A is derived. Okay, so this is true. Again, the most simplified grammar G2. Okay, in this grammar, and the language of G2 is equals to language of G, and that is also an occurrence of A where n is greater than or equals to 0. So all these grammars are, I think, clear, and this G2 is by using these two more additional steps. Hope this is clear. But unfortunately this G2 is also not simplified grammar. Let us discuss over this. So look, our G2 is this, but look, in the production S tends to AB, and these four productions are not used in any of sentential form, so these are to be removed, and remaining productions are these only, which we include in G3. This is actually G3, this is printing mistake. Okay, and of course this is also G3, please clear. Okay, so these four production are eliminated. Now of course this is what S tends to S, this is a unit production, so whatever is derived by S, that is also derived by S2. So we eliminate this production and include new production, that is S2 derived small a and capital S, and S2 derives small a, like this. Okay, I hope this is clear, because S derived these two things. Okay, so we indirectly derived it by S2. Okay, so we include these two production, and as it is this, because our language itself having null string, so we cannot erase or modify this production. Okay, so therefore the final modified or simplified or reduced grammar corresponding to given grammar G is this G3. Okay, and the language of this G3 is equals to the language of G2 and language of G, that is n occurrence of A, and where n is greater than or equals to 0, and this G3 is completely simplified context free grammar. I hope this is clear. Okay, the reference of this topic is KLP Mishra and Sudcam. Thank you very much for watching this. If you have any doubt, please mail at this email address. Thank you.